guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and today we're talking about my top 20 reads for 2020. So I'm a little bit late on this bandwagon because I had a lot of videos coming out in the beginning of January that I kind of wanted to get out at that time, but better late than never, so here we are. So these are books that have mostly been on my TBR for a really long time. Also, the majority of them are pretty popular, pretty hyped books, so things that I am behind on. I started BookTube about 2.5 years ago, so I was really unaware of all the young adult books that were happening and were coming out, and I wasn't really reading that much, and so missed out on a lot of this like gloriousness. I didn't do as good of a job last year getting caught up as I wanted to because I tend to put off books that I'm really excited about. Am I alone in that? Why do we do that? I don't know. Like for special occasions, just read the book, then it'll be a special occasion. But anyway, we're going to dive into this. So the only thing I wanted to mention is that I am including the entire series as one. So if it's like the first book in a series, I'm kind of encompassing the entire series as well. Whether or not I'm going to get to that in 2020 or all at once, who knows, but I just kind of wanted to like preface that first. And this is going to be in like a totally random order because I'm not very organized today. So we're gonna dive right in. Probably the only newer book that I have is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I literally have just heard so many amazing things about this book, and I got this recently in a trade and I cannot wait to get to it. So this is the only one that hasn't been on my TBR very long, but I'm also excited this is standalone so I don't have to like read more in the series, and it's just like one and done. And fantastical, like magical libraries is what I know about this one. So just a heads up, I'm not very good with knowing descriptions of books. I kind of like to know the bare minimum before I jump into them. So if you're looking for a lot of descriptions, this is probably not the video for you. Next up is Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare, as well as Queen of Air and Darkness, and a bunch of other ones. This is the last series that I have to finish from her before the next series comes out. I really liked Lady Midnight a ton, and I'm totally officially on the Cassandra Clare bandwagon now, so I'm excited to like keep going in this Shadowhunter universe. Definitely start with the Mortal Instruments first if you haven't already. I just think it's really important and you won't be as attached to the characters, and I think Lady Midnight is really confusing if you haven't read any of the other books. So this is just like such a fun, immersive, gigantic world. Next up is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, another standalone, yay. I absolutely love Naomi Novik's Uprooted, which was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. This is a loose retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, and we've got some sisters and some magical woods. I think this one is adult, so there are some adult themes in here. It's wintry and delightful, and I really hope I like it as much as I liked Uprooted because I freaking loved Uprooted. Next up, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmer. This is the only other newer book that I have on this list. A Beauty and the Beast retelling. Literally everybody and their mother and their son and their dog is telling me to read because I like Beauty and the Beast retellings anyway, and this seems to be like a higher priority one. So I have this one and I hope to get to it in the beginning of the year. The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden as a series. So this is again kind of fairy tale, whimsical, magical, wintry woods goodness. I didn't make it to it in January, but I do hope to get to this one sometime in the year because I just think my tastes are going to align really well with this book. Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This might be the highest one on my list. I meant to get to this one this fall. I even started it and I just got distracted during Spookathon. I think I tried to read it during Spookathon, which was a bad idea, which is a readathon in the fall. I needed to just read it when I have the time to like binge read the entire thing. So this one is about somewhat magical kids trying to find a dead Welsh king, and the girl, if she kisses someone, they die. I don't know, really bad description, but it has a very fall like atmospheric vibe, so I do want to read it like September and October, so I might hold off for a while on this one. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This was a standalone. I should have read it when it was a standalone because that was more exciting. Now it's a duology slash maybe trilogy. I'm not sure. I really love Rainbow Rowell, and this is one of the only books I haven't gotten to from her. And so this is basically like kind of Harry Potter fan fiction, and the elements of this story are in Fangirl Cat writes fanfiction kind of based on Harry Potter, and this is basically that fanfiction come to life. So I really like the elements that we got in Fangirl, so I hope to get to this one soon. Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. This is my oldest TBR book. I have brought this one with me From Missouri to Here was one of the only fantasy books I bought. This is a Cinderella retelling by Gregory Maguire, who is a hit or miss author for me. He's the author of Wicked, which I did enjoy, and then he has like Snow White. He has a whole bunch of different retellings. They're all adult and they are very adult themed. There's a lot of sexual content, so just keep that in mind. But this one is basically a twist on Cinderella. I think she's probably nasty and the stepsisters are fine or something like that. I don't know, but I've had it for forever and I really need to get to it. Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson, one of the trilogies I'm the most excited about. A princess runs away and she's being chased by a prince and a bad guy. I'm not sure, and you don't really know which one is which. Ooh, that could be really wrong. I don't really know. But I've just heard amazing things about this particular fantasy from people that don't even like fantasy. And I like fantasy and I like princesses and royalty and princes and love triangles and all that good stuff. So I have, I think, all of these in the series now too. Freesling by Kristen Cashore. This again is another high fantasy. I've heard amazing things. I'm very torn on whether to do the audio or the physical book. Let me know what you guys think. I know the audio is a full cast recording, so that sounds awesome. I love a good audiobook. I don't know much about this other than that it's just really well loved and it's been on my TBR for a little bit now. It's one of the older ones as well. Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares, sorry for the shine. I finally found both of these last year. I absolutely love Laini Taylor's Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, and this one is about Laszlo Strange, who I think works in a library and discovers books about a faraway land and kind of becomes obsessed with it. I love watching these videos back and seeing how wrong I am, but these are always like very under-described anyway because Laini Taylor's writing is kind of one you just want to dive into and uncover for yourself. This is a duology. They're absolutely freaking gorgeous and high up on my priority. Next up is Capturing the Devil by Carrie Maniscalco. I binge read the 3 of these in October, I think, and I didn't quite make it to this last one even though I busted my butt to find it. It starts out as kind of like a twist on Jack the Ripper, and then each book takes on its own theme. So we have like Houdini as one theme and Dracula as one theme, and then I guess the devil is the theme for this one. I think there's more romance in this one than the other ones, which is very exciting. It's kind of gotten mixed reviews, but I need to just like wrap up this whole series. Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. Again, I want to read this one in the fall. This is an adult urban fantasy, and it's very graphic and very gory. I honestly don't know much about it. I think the lead character is an assassin, something like that. And I just love Jay Kristoff's writing from the Illuminae series and also from Aurora Rising, so I feel like he is an author that is just like someone I'm gonna like obsess over, and I also think he's a funny person. So hope to read this one probably around the fall again. One classic on the list, A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I've actually read this one, but it's been years, like maybe 2 decades. So I put it back on my TBR list. This is the story about a wealthy young girl that winds up going to stay in like a boarding school, and her parents wind up dying and she winds up turning kind of into like an orphan and getting like downgraded in the school, and it's just like about her journey and friendship and hardships. I love Frances Hodgson Burnett so much. Secret Garden is one of my favorite books of all time, and this is one of my favorite books as well. It's just been a really long time since I've read it. Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I don't know if I'm going to save these for the fall or not. I don't think that I am. It's kind of about men becoming superhero slash villains. I really like those superhero aspects. I haven't been a huge fan of V.E. Schwab yet, but this is one I'm particularly excited for, so hope to get to it soon. Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the Throne of Glass series. Meant to get to these last year, didn't. Hope to get to them soon. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. This has just been on my TBR for forever, and I honestly don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, but I just want to read it and kind of knock it off the TBR. It's like post-apocalyptic. I think aliens come and something happens, or environmental damages, and we kind of have to survive, which I do kind of like. Maybe dystopian, I'm not entirely sure, but we're knocking it off this year. Bright Smoke, Cold Fire by Rosamund Hodge. I love Rosamund Hodge. She wrote Cruel Beauty, Crimson Bound, the book in her next duology, I think. Maybe it's a trilogy. And it's about Romeo and Juliet and ghosts. And that's all I need to know. And I love Rosamund Hodge anyway, so. Court Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I'm actually starting this one in February. This is a new adult fantasy book. I'm sure you know all about it. Probably the most popular book I have on this list that I have not read. And it's about fairies and romance and goodness, and I'm really excited, but I'm really nervous. And then The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Haven't read this one, guys. Can you believe it? I know. Oh my gosh. I'm excited that it's a standalone fantasy about dueling magicians. I think this one is adult, but I think it's pretty okay for YA readers. It's just, this is like one that's going to be on everybody's list, I think, in the future. It's going to be on one of those like you know, top 100 books to read. It was just extremely popular among many different genres, and I'm really excited. So those are all the top 20 books I want to get to in 2020. I think, I'm sure I'm going to be pulling some out that I'm like, oh, I should have included this one. But these are just the ones that have kind of been bugging me for a while. I just look at them and I'm like, why haven't I read you yet? So I hope to get to these soon. Let me know which one I should get to first. I know I'm going to start Court of Thorns and Roses here really soon, but let me know if you guys want me to bump anything up, because if you guys recommend it, I'm more likely to read them first. I mean, like, they've all come highly recommended, but maybe I'll push myself a little bit sooner. If you're kind of into them, let me know your thoughts and feelings. I really feel like I'm going to love them all. I've been debating on doing like a top 5 predictions video as well, 5-star predictions, and that's just something I might do in the future. Let me know if you guys are doing your top 20 for 2020, and I'll see you guys next time on The Bright Side. Bye!